Here's the mindset of a wealthy real estate investor and how I evaluate deals to make sure it's a standard that meet my needs of a good deal or not a good deal. In this video, we're gonna do deal evaluation. Now, in real estate, the most important thing you gotta understand is how to evaluate a deal. What the price is for as is, what the price is for ARV, after fair value, what does it cost to rehab a house, and if you missed these numbers, you can screw up a whole entire deal. So you gotta really study your market and really understand the number when you do deal evaluation. I have a different lens than most people. Let me start off by saying this. There's 4 standards I live by. I teach all my Springboard students, when you actually follow these standards, you're not gonna get hurt. The people who don't have standard are the ones who actually get hurt. So when I look at a deal, it either falls in 4 buckets. The highest bucket is a BRRRR bucket, meaning if I buy a property, rehab it, by the time I'm all done, cost and rehab total compared to the ARV. So let's say ARV is $1 million. I like to see at least 25% and more in margin. That means my all-in number gotta be at least 75%. So 75% of all-in of $1 million is $750,000. Purchase price and rehab all together, $750,000. ARV is $1 million. I call that 25% margin. That's how I categorize a deal I'm gonna keep. The next bucket below that, if it don't fit that, is what I call a flip bucket. A flip bucket to me is somewhere probably 15 to 20%, 21, 22 in margin is a flip. If it don't fit a flip, the next one below that is wholesale. I'm gonna say wholesale somewhere between probably on the low side, 10 to 15% in margin. If it has that, okay, if it falls in there, it's a wholesale. If it's anything less than 10%, folks, if you're an agent, just list the property for the seller. If you're not an agent, refer to the realtor. Maybe you guys can work out some kind of referral fee, call it good. But that's the 4 buckets, you guys. Now, when I look at deal, if the number fall in one of these buckets, I don't have to think. It automatically tells me I'm gonna pull this trigger, BRRRR. I'm gonna pull this trigger, a flip. I'm gonna pull this trigger, wholesale, or I'm gonna pull this trigger, list the property. That's how you know, all right? Get clear in your standard. Let's dive into the deal. So get a phone call from a seller who we knew. And they say, hey man, I wanna sell my property, come look at it. The house needs a lot of work. We go look at the property and we walk in the house, a lot of stuff in the house, lots of stuff, okay? In the living room, the kitchen, full of stuff. 2-bedroom on the main floor and a bath. It has the old hardwood floor that's just really, really beat up. The ceiling is cracked. All right, I mean, the whole house needs a total makeover, basically from studs out. And then downstairs, it's a full basement, but only about a quarter of it is finished. The rest of it, it gotta be done. When I look at the property, I go, house gonna need a lot of work, okay? The first thing I want you to understand is this. There's 3 things you have to know to evaluate a deal. 1 is purchase price. You gotta ask the owner, what do you want for the property? 2, you gotta know what it costs to rehab the property. And then 3, you gotta know what the ARV is. What is this house worth after repair value? Now, how do you know what it's worth? You can actually ask the owner, say, what do you want? Now he's gonna tell you, you gotta do your research and you gotta figure out what a home like that as is worth based on comp. How do you know rehab costs? Well, if you don't know, you gotta get a contract out there so he can give you a bid. I've done a lot of it, so I know when I look at the property, I know it's gonna cost me X amount of money. And then ARV, you look at what other similar home that has the same number of bedroom, number of bathrooms, square footage, and nice little remodel, see what they're selling for. And that's how you know what ARV is, okay? We'll get to the house, we'll take a look at it, and I look at the backyard, I look at the yard, and I notice the yard is small. And I say, okay, I go back home and look at through the county record. I realize this house, the lot is 3,774 square feet. This is a single family zoning property. Now in Seattle, I know you gotta have at least 3,600 square foot lot if you wanna put an ADU in the backyard. This house actually meets it, so I knew this house has the potential. The second thing I gotta check after I check lot size is, where does the house sit on the lot? Does it sit all in the front? Does it sit maybe somewhere in the middle, or does it cover the whole entire lot? Well, thank God this property sat more towards the front and some of the house crossed over on the middle of this lot. But when you look at it and I eye it, I know that the lot size is good. I know the house sits more to the front. I got a little bit of a backyard, so I can probably put ADU, so I'm good with that. So now I gotta ask the owner, what do you want for the property? Sometimes the owner might not say to you exactly he wants 700,000, but when I ask him, what do you want for it? He said, I'm not sure, but here's what I'm thinking. I like to pay off the loan, which is about 100 grand. I like to put 100 grand in my pocket. And I saw this house that looked pretty nice for about $500,000. So what you're saying is you looking for somewhere around $700,000 for your property as is. Is that what you're saying? He said, yeah, that's what I'm thinking. And that's how you get a price from the seller. So I said, okay, so now I got something to work with. I got price from him. I looked at the property and I said to myself, to do this house, remodel the whole upstairs, new window, new siding, get the house, you know, to level out, probably dig out the base, put 2 more bedrooms and a bath, to do the top and the bottom on a 1,200 square feet. There's 1,200 in the main, 1,200 in the basement. To do this, I'm gonna say it's gonna cost me $200,000. Then I asked myself, okay, what's the ARV when I'm all done? I looked at it, I go, okay, probably gonna be worth maybe 900, maybe 950. But for now, I'm gonna use 900,000. Let's do the math. Let's do the evaluation, okay? Let's start with, if you were to buy this property, how are you gonna get a loan for a major fixer? When you have a major fixer, you need hard money lending. And here's how hard money lender charge. You ready? Now, for some of you guys who might not know, Springboard funding, we do hard money lending. We also do DSCR loan for people who wanna buy property and actually do a long-term hold. Right? DSCR, we can do that too, okay? Just FYI. I know the owner wants $700,000 for the house. I know that the rehab is gonna be $200,000. So all in, you guys, it's $900,000. Hard money lender want at least 20% down. 20% down of $900,000 is $180,000. So you're gonna need $180,000 cash up front when you close, plus some small closing costs, but let's call it $180,000. You need that cash to close. That means that you're gonna be borrowing $780,000. So what's the interest carry cost to borrow $780,000 for basically 6 months when you rehab this house? So let me break it down for you. First of all, they charge 2 points upfront to borrow the money. So if you take $780,000, multiply it by 0.02, it is $14,400 worth of points, okay? You gotta bring that to the table when you close. So on top of $180,000, you also have to bring $14,400 to closing. So you're gonna need a little more than $180 now. They also charge 12% interest rate right now because rates are high right now. So you take $780,000, multiply by 12%, which comes out to about $93,600 a year, okay? You're not gonna need this loan for a whole year. You only need it for 6 months. You divide it by 12, that means your monthly payment is $7,800 a month. If you multiply that by basically, it's gonna take you probably 6 months to do this house, $46,800 worth of interest. When you add up the interest plus the 2 points of $14,400, it's gonna cost you a total of $61,200 in interest carry costs for 6 months to borrow $780,000. So now, let's break down and evaluate the deal, all right? If this house is all done, looking pretty, 4-bedroom, 2-bath house, let's say the ARV, the comp out there in the street, let's say is worth $900,000. First, you take the ARV, $900,000. The first thing you gotta multiply and take out is the closing costs. When you sell a home, folks, it costs about 9%. Commission and closing costs, 9%. So that's $81,000. If you take $81,000 minus $900,000, you're left with $819,000. You gotta minus the purchase price. The owner wants $700,000. Now you gotta minus the rehab costs, $200,000. You minus $200,000 from rehab. Interest carry cost is $61,200. You minus that. You are left with negative $142,200. So on the front house, before you do with the ADU in the back, after spending 6 months on rehabbing this house, making it from a 2-bedroom to a 4-bedroom, new roof, new siding, new window, new furnace, new everything. By the time you're done paying commission, closing costs, and all the fee, you're gonna be negative $142,200. Negative. That means we have to carry that negative onto the back lot. That means you're gonna be paying $142,200 for the land in the back. In an ideal world, you like to at least break even on the front house. Even if you make no money, you break even, you got a free lot that you pay nothing for. But in this scenario, you're negative 142, that means you gotta bring that negative onto the back lot. So you're starting off with $142,200 for the lot cost. Does that make sense? Right now in Seattle, in order for you to get plans and permit for a DADU, it's gonna take you about probably anywhere between 4 to 6 months. In order for you to get plans and permit, you gotta get a survey. And after you get a survey, then you gotta get the architect to draw the plans. And after you get the plans, you gotta get the engineer, take a look at it, and then finally you get the permit. plan, permit, engineer, everything, just so you guys know, it's about $25,000 for an ADU. Now in Seattle, the biggest size you can do for ADU is 1,000 square feet, okay? 500 on the main, 500 on the top. Right now, it costs about $350 a square foot all in for doing an ADU. So it's gonna cost you $350,000. So now let's talk about how you're gonna finance it, okay? Let's say you sold off the house in the front. Now you get the backyard. Now let's say if you're lucky, Hard Money Lending will lend you 100% of the $350,000, okay? If you're not lucky, they might make you put down 20%. But let's say in this scenario, for easy calculation, you get 100% finance because you got plans and permits ready to go. So if you went and got Hard Money loan for $350, 2 points again is $7,000. 12% interest rate for $350,000 is $42,000. $3,500 a month on payment. Let's say it takes you 7 months to build this, okay? They break ground and you're off and running, okay? $3,500 times 7 months is $24,500 plus the $7,000 for 2 points. You all in is $31,500. Now, let's do the evaluation and see how much money you're gonna make profit if, right, you sell this property at $700,000. All right, here we go. Let's say ARV right now for a 1,000 square foot ADU in Seattle is $700,000, which is roughly about it. If you're gonna sell this, okay, it's gonna cost you 9%, which is $63,000. If you minus $700,000 from $63,000 with the closing costs, you're left with $637,000. $637,000 minus construction costs, $350,000, minus $25,000 plans and permits, minus $31,500 for interest carry costs for 7 months. Then you also gotta minus, you guys, the land costs. Remember, you gotta carry that over, $142,200. You gotta minus all that. You are net with $88,300. If you take $88,300 divided by $700,000 ARV, this is about a 12% margin deal. 12%. Ain't much, okay? When I look at this, I say to myself, wow, that ain't much for 7 months with building a whole new construction from foundation up. Now, someone could ask me, well, Thach, isn't it worth it maybe to keep it? Well, let's see, okay? So let's say it's gonna cost you $350,000 for the construction, plus $25,000 for plans and permits, plus $31,500 for interest carry costs, plus $142,200 for the land costs. You're in it for $548,700. So $548,000 right now, if you got a loan right now to keep as interest for rental, you might be paying 7.5%. Your monthly payment is gonna be easy over $4,000. Easy. A typical ADU right now rents for about $3,000 to $3,500. You'd be negative cash flow. So renting is out of the question. So really you're left with selling this thing. If you sell this, you do all the work, okay? You make 12% on the back end, which is $88,300. So here's the question at the end of the day, you guys. First, you got a major rehab on the front house. You spent 6 months doing that. The same time you rehab it, you get your permits. So by the time you get done with your basically your rehab, you get plans and permits. And let's say it takes you 6-7 months to build the new construction. So you get done with the rehab on the house, in the main house in the front. You sell it. You're negative $142,000. If Hard Money Lending is nice enough to let you be negative and bring that negative into your backyard, then you don't have to come to closing with $142,000. But let's say they actually said, all right, we'll carry that and put it on the back end on your ADU. So you don't have to come up with no negative, but you're negative on the lot. So you sell this property, make no profit on the front end. So you make no money after 6 months of doing a major rehab. You with me? Okay, no money. Now you're gonna start the new construction. You're gonna spend 6 to 7 months building a new construction from foundation up. By the time you're done, minus everything, all your costs, and you walk away with $88,300. So you do 2 major projects, major rehab, and then a major new construction. And at the end of the whole year, total profit, $88,300. You gotta tell me, put in the comment below, is this deal a deal or no deal? I wanted to share with you guys what a wealthy real estate investor with high standard, how I look through looking at a deal with my lens, because my lens is real high. This is why I teach all my students, when you have high standard, you're not gonna get hurt in this real estate business. You gotta like this video, and you wanna see more of this video, comment below. Also tell me you wanna see more of this and more deal evaluation, and give me a thumbs up if you like it. And please, do me a favor, you guys. Please subscribe to the channel, right? That's all I ask. Subscribe to the channel. We wanna get to a million subscribers in the next 12 months or sooner, right? Till then, you guys, I'm looking forward to reading your comment. Peace.